ever felt so deeply connected to your art, but painfully isolated from others who truly understand that same creative pull? In today's world, places where we can experience real physical community feel harder and harder to come by. Unless you're a part of a church group, a sports team, or a circle that meets regularly with intention, that genuine sense of belonging can sometimes feel out of reach, like something we remember but we just can't quite grasp. As an artist, my journey has often felt like a solitary one. I've spent countless hours tucked away in my studio or perched at the kitchen table, quietly creating in my own little world, without much connection to others who share the same pull towards making art. There's been so much loneliness in that experience, a quiet, persistent solitude. And I find myself wondering how many of us have felt this too. It can't just be me. The few artists that I have spoken to recently have reflected this experience back to me. It's like looking in a mirror, describing the same quiet, parallel isolation we live through. It's a shared experience, one that feels both familiar and separate, the same but apart. Loneliness can run so deep. I've felt it settle into my bones at times, even when telling myself I didn't really need much beyond what I already had. Not long ago, I found myself saying to a family member, I don't really think I need friends. I'm doing just fine with my art, my partner, and my books. And at that moment, it felt mostly true to me. That family member seemed a little bit taken aback by what I'd just said. But then, a few weeks later, something happened. I found myself in a local studio gallery painting alongside other creatives, and something inside me shifted. It brought me back, way back, to art class in high school. I remember those long, quiet hours filled with shared focus and soft laughter, sometimes not so soft, and it just seemed to bubble up so naturally. That classroom felt sacred to me, like a temple where togetherness was honoured. There was no hierarchy there, no pressure to perform or impress, and as someone who was bullied, that was priceless. It was just a group of people connected by something much larger, each of us dipping into the same well of creativity. I had forgotten what that felt like. Over the years, the connection to that kind of community had faded. I didn't have an art community anymore. There was no one nearby who really understood the rhythm of this life. What it means to live in the ebb and flow of creation, to wrestle with the stubbornness of paint, to celebrate tiny victories, and what feel like huge losses. And yet, there I was again, more than a decade later, sitting quietly in that studio, tapping once more into that same well. The space was soft, open and welcoming, and in that stillness, I began to make meaningful connections again. always thought of myself as someone who's quite socially anxious, a little tired by too much togetherness. I've often wondered how people manage to work full days and then still have the energy to engage in social things. But this community, this circle of artists, didn't drain me at all. Instead, it nourished me in ways that I hadn't realized I was craving. It brought me serendipitous connections that I couldn't have planned for, and I didn't even know I needed. This sense of belonging has started to ripple out in ways that I wouldn't have expected. Even in the digital spaces on Instagram and here on YouTube, I've slowly built a little community, a circle of kind, creative people who return again and again. People share their stories, offer gentle encouragement, or simply say, I feel the same. It's such a reassuring, lovely reminder that even if we're painting on the opposite sides of the world, we're not doing it alone. This whole experience has awakened a dream inside of me. Perhaps to one day open a space where creatives can come together, not just to work, but to share life's journey, together for drinks on a Friday night, and to create beautiful works side by side on a Sunday afternoon. Maybe someday that dream will come true. But for now, these connections, the conversations at the cafe, the shared commiserations over artworks that are not behaving how we'd like them to, they're like a series of tiny lights flickering on inside me and all around me. And with community, I'm coming alive again. And from the bottom of my heart, I want the same.